What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the final third. It has been a while. We've taken a little bit of a break here just with some conflicting schedules, but we are
That's
back.
that's my fault. I'll take the blame for that. That could be my fault.
Hey, no, you gotta keep working outside of this, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, until you
So
guys start paying us, we'll be here and there.
so we're gonna try to keep this very consistent. We're actually gonna be trying to upload a video every single day, between trivia, top tens, combined 11s, everything. So today we're going to start with top 10 right backs in the world right now.
This is a
So,
fun one. I like
yeah,
this one a lot more than the left backs. I think there's a lot more talent on the right side of the pitch, so
the
this should
right
be
side,
interesting.
I had a lot of difficulty putting my top 10 together just because I had my top 10, but I feel like the order, there are some people that I feel like are way too low in this for me, but I couldn't put them above the other
Oh
players.
no,
So it's
I'm
just
gonna
kind of a
I'm
group.
gonna piss some people off. I'm gonna piss some people
Yeah.
off for sure.
All right. So I'm going to start here. I'll share my screen real quick and we will get in to the top 10. So let's get this going here. My number 10 is David Calabria from AC Milan. I think Calabria is one of the more underrated players in the
Yeah,
world right now. And I feel like there's a lot of people that could go in this 10 spot. I was flirting with putting Malagusto in there, but again, just amount of playing time, he hasn't really got there yet for me. Um, but I mean, he's one of the best in the world at the right back position for interceptions per 90, 1.13. He gets one of the best in the world at touches per 90. He doesn't get dispossessed very often either. And he's actually very good in the attacking third as well. 41.4% of successful crosses per 90, 86% passes completed per 90. And he also gets a bunch of assists. So he is one of the best players in the world, but extremely underrated just because of the amount of talent in that AC Milan
I
team.
agree. I agree. When you see my list, I'll spoil something now. I almost put him in, but I didn't. But he was
Yeah.
definitely on the cusp for me.
All right. Well, number 9. This is a guy that I wanted to put higher, and that's Benjamin Pavard. He has
Oh,
been
interesting.
he has been one of my favorite players for a while now. He's extremely good on the ball. He could play a little bit more centrally, so he could play on the right side of a back three. Obviously, he had one of the best goals of all time in that World Cup match back in 2018
Dude, that thing was a
against
beauty.
Argentina. Absolute beauty. And I mean, he's played for some of the best teams in the world. And he has been a mainstay in these starting 11s. He's extremely underrated, very good in the attacking third. Um, and extremely good with his discipline and his I think his defensive ability in isolation is one of the most underrated parts of his game. People think
Yeah.
as he started as a center back, he's not as good in isolation against some pacey wingers, but he's been able to hold his own very well. So I'm a big
Do
fan of
you
him.
really think he's a top 10 right back?
I think he could be. I mean, here's the thing: who else? We'll
Dude,
see the
he's
rest of
so
my list.
slow. He's
Yeah,
so slow.
but that doesn't stop him from being good. Like the thing is, these days, these
I
fullbacks,
think he
they don't.
struggles in the defense. I think he's much better on the attack. I think when you put him in defense, he's kind of
Yeah, but
like a
but
little
that's what every right
scary.
back. That's what every right back in the world does now.
Not every
There's
right
seven.
back, not the top
There's
10 right backs in the world. I'm going to tell you
we'll
that.
say, but there's 70. I mean, the top three right backs that I have on my list are probably 70% attacking, 30% defending. So we'll see as we go along. But I wanted to put him a little bit higher, but there are so many good right backs I couldn't.
Yeah.
So let's move on to my number 8, which
Higher
is
would have been
Denzel
criminal.
Dumfries. Denzel
Mm.
Dumfries, another one that people have been talking about for a while. He's another one that's extremely good in the attacking half of the field, but he's also extremely good on the defensive side. He's still a young player, waiting for that big move,
He's a little
potentially
pit
to the
bull,
Premier
bro.
League.
Yeah.
Seriously, he is. I mean, he's extremely quick. He's got a great right foot to play a ball into the
So
box.
strong. He's so
He's
strong.
so strong.
I think he
So
fits. I
he's
know
really good.
Trent's unreal, but I think he would fit Liverpool really well. Like,
I can
there's
see
no
that.
way he replaces Trent, but I think he would fit them well if Trent ever left.
No, I like that shot. He's extremely good. He's my number 8. Number 7, I got Giovanni Di Lorenzo. I mean, he was
Baller.
a huge part um, of Napoli's team. Extremely good on that right side. Contender for Team of the Year this past season. And I mean, he's one to watch for. He's a bit older. than most of the guys on this list.
Yeah,
Let me get his
he's still
exact
top though.
age.
Dude, the Italian team's starting to look unreal with their youth.
Yes, they Di Lorenzo is going to be a big piece of that team due to the
Yeah.
fact that he is a little bit older than everybody else. He's currently
Yeah, he's
30
gonna be
years
one of the
old.
leaders.
He's going to be a
Yeah,
leader of the
but like
team.
Calabria behind him, following up, like
Yep.
their youth is looking so exciting. And you have
The
Adogi on the left,
Yep.
Tonali, so good.
Italian fullbacks are extremely good. We've seen even the
Mm.
guys like Spinazzola, who are maybe not one of the best players in the world,
Florenzi,
but yeah, exactly. They are a very stacked group there at the fullback position. So I'm excited to see what they could potentially do in these big tournaments coming up. At number 6, we have Kieran Trippier. This might be a little bit low for him potentially,
I
but
think
I
that's a
think
fair shot, especially
I
after this
think it's a
season.
fair shout to go. He's had a little bit of a down year this year. He's never been like a top right back. He's maybe snuck into the 3 spot occasionally, based on form. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has completely transformed his career since leaving Tottenham. He was a mid right back at Tottenham,
Yeah.
a little underappreciated at Tottenham, but a little bit above average to mid. And since he's come to Newcastle, he's been one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world.
Yeah.
No one does it better from free kicks from the position. Nobody does it. So he's in my 6. I couldn't put him in my top 5, but he's in my 6.
No, but I
Uh,
think honestly, since he was at Atletico, that's kind of when it kind of started to take off for him.
yeah, seriously. And I
Yeah.
think he needed that change of scenery out of that. Well, I don't know what we want to call Tottenham because they're actually playing well this year, but they weren't as good when he was there. So number 5 for me is Pedro Porro. Speaking of Tottenham,
Whoa! Top
I
10 in the
think
world?
yeah, I think so.
Top 10 in the world?
Especially on form, he's one of the best right backs in the world. He's arguably the best right back in the Prem this season. Potentially is the best right back in the Prem this season. He's only going to improve. He's going to keep going up. He's great in attacking. He's extremely quick. He's got a great right foot to cross the ball.
Our lists are different, bro.
I'm excited.
Our lists, because
By the way, I did not include Reece James because he's hurt.
I did include Reece James.
Okay, so we didn't discuss this beforehand, so we didn't say no injuries or not. I'll tell you where he would be when I get to that spot, but he's not in my list.
Well, it's
right
obvious.
Now.
It's obvious where he would be.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Pedro Porro, one of the best right backs right now. He's going to continue getting better, and he's going to continue climbing the list, in my opinion. Number 4, Akif Hakimi. I mean, I think you don't hear about him a lot just because Paris Saint-Germain aren't really doing much right now. They're in the Champions League, but I think they're going to go out potentially in the next round. They're obviously losing Mbappe, so that could mean a change of scenery for Hakimi. I think a lot of those big-time players are going to end up leaving Paris. You're going to see Donnarumma leave. You're going to see Hakimi leave, among others. So that could be good for him, I think. In the beginning, I didn't think it was a good move for him at the start, so I think it's time for him to leave. But he's been great for Morocco, and he's still very young. And he's probably, of the top 4 that I have right now, he's probably second for me in all-around fullback play for right backs. I think,
he's solid. And I think the difference between, and maybe what I kind of looked at like their past a bit more. And I feel like that's why Hakimi sticks out a little bit more than Porro does for me. This is like Porro's first season of really having a run.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see your top 3.
Yeah, so the top 3, I mean, I think there's one maybe a little bit of a rogue shout, but he's one of my favorite players in the world and has been for the past 2 or 3 seasons. And now he's finally starting to pick it up. I believe, if I remember correctly, he's my number 3, Jeremy Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong is amazing.
He's top.
Once Xabi Alonso leaves Leverkusen, or if Frimpong leaves Xabi, whatever happens, we'll see if this is going to remain, whether it's just Xabi's tactics that are making him so lethal or not. But he's got everything. He's extremely pacey. You can play him on the right wing if you want. He scores, he assists, he's great in isolation on the outside in defense. He's a great dribbler, and he's so young. He has so much potential. I see him pretty much being the next Trent. Like, he's kind of the same style player. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. Like, there's a reason why I think Xabi Alonso fits so well at Liverpool, because Jeremy Frimpong and Alexander Arnold's play styles are very similar.
Mm, yeah,
He may not have like the free kick ability and the corner ability of Trent right now, but on the ball, live ball play, he's amazing.
I
Number
agree. I
two,
agree.
Kyle Walker. A little bit older than some of the other people, kind of
He's
near the age of Kieran
he's
Trippier.
top though, dude. He's so good.
He's so good. I mean, he is probably the best fullback in the Prem over the past 2 seasons,
Yeah.
um, combined. Just all around fullback. He's great in defense. He can play the right side of a back three. We obviously see him do that a lot with England. We've seen it in the past with Man City when Pep used to play a three back.
Mm.
And he was a key piece of that Man City lineup. If you didn't have, we saw that when he got hurt last season, Pep had so much trouble finding that replacement for him in that position because he was so key to how they build up their attack into the final third and get everything going. It took him like 3 or 4 tries to find Rico Lewis to be that player to put into that position. So he is an irreplaceable part of that team. Uh, and I mean, he's just amazing. His composure, his ability on the ball. He's a little bit slow, which is why Rico Lewis has kind of taken a little bit more playing time in that
Yeah,
position.
but Rico's also
But
been playing left back a bit.
yeah, he's been playing left back as well. But I think Kyle Walker, he still has a few more years left in him of being a top fullback
Mm,
in the world. And then number
yeah.
one, no surprise, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Reece James. Oh,
I mean,
what?
I would put Reece and Trent as like a 1A, 1B. I think they're both extremely good. If Reece can get out there and play more consistently, I personally would probably have him at number one. But we
Mm,
just don't see him consistently enough. We just don't see him. Uh, Trent Alexander-Arnold, the best right foot in the world of football right now. Um, I mean,
that's
there's
a
nothing really
claim.
else to say about it.
That's a
It,
big
I
claim.
don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I mean, he is
I don't think it's
outstanding.
far off, but like uh best right foot in the whole world.
I think he
That's a
might be. I
okay.
think he might
I
be.
don't hate that
Uh,
shout. I don't hate
yeah.
that shout.
So anyway, that's my top 10. Apparently yours is very different, so we'll see how that goes. But do you want to? I'll stop sharing,
Yeah,
and you can go and share yours.
let's see this. Let's go through it. Um,
All right,
so
let's see what
yeah,
you got here.
here we go. I think starting at number 10, you mentioned it, but weren't brave enough to put, was not brave enough to put it. Malo Gusto.
Malagusta, yeah. I was so
Dude,
close to putting him in
he's
there.
he's just the guy right now. He's been playing so well. He's been playing out of his mind. And I think he deserves that spot wholeheartedly.
No, I like
His
what you're
ability
saying.
to attack, his interplay when he gets up is unreal, and I've been super impressed with him as a Chelsea fan, especially as a Reece James diehard. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what more he can bring out. And then at 9, I have Di Lorenzo.
Okay.
Um, I think he's a really good player. Again, a little bit older. I think he's kind of on his way out of being a top 10 player in the world. And just as we said, the prowess of Italian right backs is unbelievable.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
and looking next at 8, Danny Carvajal.
Okay.
I think Danny Carvajal deserves a
That's a
shout
shout. That's a
because
shout.
yeah, because he's been doing it for long, dude. He's been doing it
Hmm.
since Ronaldo was at Madrid. He's
I'm not
just
gonna lie,
been
I forgot about him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put my hands up. He might have squeaked into my top 10 if I'd remembered him,
that's
but he
fair.
is a class player. He is a class player.
Yeah, he's a class player. He gets up and he gets back. Little controversial off the
Yeah.
pitch, but we're talking about on the pitch right now. So yeah, I love him. I've loved him for a long time as a player, not as a human. Um, but now looking at 7, Karen Trippier.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So right
quite a
around the
bit
same
lower
area
than
as
you
me.
had him. Yeah, I think this season the kind of the drop off of play he's had, especially in
Hmm.
the back half of the season, has been an issue for me. And also I feel like he's just one of those names that is always mentioned, but he never quite gets to that top spot, you know?
Yeah,
Like, and also as an England right back, you have so much competition.
yeah,
You have an
it's crazy.
unbelievable amount of competition, and I think he's a solid player. I think he's one of the best players on set pieces in the world, but I just don't think he cracks the top five for me.
Yeah, and it's also
Um,
tough for him for England because you think, oh, he's pretty much a lock for the England squad because of his ability to take free kicks. But then you got James Ward-Prowse, you got Trent Alexander-Arnold
yeah,
in that team already. So especially with Trent, how do you, when you've got a healthy Reece James potentially, you got Kyle Walker, you got Rico Lewis on the come up, how do
mm,
you argue to even have Trippier in the squad? It's tough.
left back. I like him at left back for England.
He could, yeah, I can see that.
He's played left back a bit for England in the past, and I think
Yep.
because he's good with his left foot, he's really good
But
with
over
both
Luke
feet.
Shaw,
Yeah, I would take him over Luke Shaw.
interesting.
I
Okay.
think Luke Shaw's
Okay.
a little overrated.
Okay.
Number
Okay.
6, the pit bull himself, Mr. Dumfries.
Yep.
Don't need to spend too much
Class.
time. You give a nice little analysis on him. But yeah, just a pit bull. I'm excited to see him make a move soon. And get. I mean, Inter is a big team, but
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in the Prem. Or even La Liga. Maybe
La
replace
Liga could
Danny
be really interesting.
Carvajal
Yeah.
for the Centurions. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
interesting.
Number 5, we go for Hakimi.
Okay.
I agree, dude. He's just been balling forever, dude. I feel like this guy. I remember like on FIFA when I like maybe it was 16 or 17. It's like, oh, this kid's great for the manager mode. Like nobody knew about
Yeah.
him. He was on the come up, like unbelievable player, and he's so good on the attack. Like he's so
Oh,
good at getting up and down the field, and he's really come into his own, especially as a leader with this Morocco side. But yeah, big fan of him. Number 4. So this is when I probably start jumping on some toes.
oh God, here we go.
I think Kyle Walker,
Okay. Okay.
like
Interesting.
unreal player,
Yeah.
unbelievable. Excuse me, my dog is freaking out. Betty, you go have your fun. Kyle Walker, unbelievable player, so good at getting up, getting down, great leader in the locker room, but he's a little bit older. You know,
Yeah.
he's
No, I see
I
that.
think I think maybe last season or 2 seasons ago, he's a lock for top 3. Um, but right now I think he's kind of on his way out. Like still gonna be a
Yeah.
top player for a while, but I think he's slowly coming out. And then following suit just as you, Jeremy Frimpong.
Frimpong. Love it. Love it.
Dude, he's an absolute baller. He's just so good, dude. The way he gets up, gets down. I think you're right. He's fitting Xavi Alonso's play style really well. And I honestly think he's one of those players that Xavi's gonna want to take with him wherever he goes.
I could see that.
Even if he goes to Liverpool, I think there's an argument for Frimpong coming over. Maybe not taking over Trent's role, but maybe moving Trent into the midfield.
Yeah, I
Um,
could see that. I could see that.
so I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. And I think this guy's just about to skyrocket. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, very exciting. And then number 2, I lost my number 2, Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Great player, unbelievable talent. Love to see what he's done, but he's not Reece James.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
If
know,
only Reese
I
was
I
healthy,
think
man. If
if
only.
Reese was healthy, there's zero argument, and I think there's also zero argument in the fact that Reese is a better defender than Trent.
Hmm.
He's a better leader than Trent, and he can arguably do as much on the attack as Trent. Um, Maybe he lacks a little bit, but I think it's from a right back's perspective, Reese is clear,
Yeah.
especially when he's healthy. So yeah, guys, these are our top 10
Yeah.
right backs.
Yeah. I think that's a
Oh,
solid list. I mean, Kyle Walker that low, maybe a little bit of a shout, and Malagusto in the top 10, maybe a little bit of a shout. But other than that, I think
yeah.
that's a pretty solid list for top 10 right backs.
I think we both have good lists. I think it also just kind of shows like what we look for more in a
Yeah.
player. Um, but yeah, guys, tell us what you think. Feel free to scream at us in the comment, and we'll see you guys next week. Or no, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. All right. See you
Bye.
guys.